What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Iron Maiden, and we're gonna go to their Book of Souls album as I move a sleepy kitty out of the way. Yeah, we're gonna listen to, as I said, the Book of Souls album. This is from 2015. We're gonna listen to the first tune of the first disc. It is a double disc album. Again, it's sort of themed like around Mesoamerican, sort of, like Aztec and like calendar wheels and so on. But yeah, we're gonna listen to "If Eternity Should Fail." This is a song. Again, I haven't been listening to Iron Maiden for a whole long time. I'd say about 7 years now. Around 2016 is when a friend of mine sort of caused me to take a closer look. I did know a couple tunes at that point. I think I mentioned before, I've known Hallowed Be Thy Name since at least the mid to late 90s because it was in a skate video that I saw many years ago. I think like 95. It was called Welcome to Hell by Toy Machine. So I knew who they were. I saw people wearing shirts, but it's just never like a band or even a genre that I got into really. And then a friend of mine made me take a closer look around 2016, and I was just amazed. And I got so into them that I bought all their studio albums and have become a big fan. But it does seem like, even in that short, limited time of becoming a fan and listening to their songs, that this song fits into a sort of lyrical framework that you find, maybe in different or from different angles and in slightly different contexts in different songs on different albums. But it's a sort of concept that I think Iron Maiden has driven at in many of their songs, which is the way in which humans, a lot of what we do is sort of brutal, oppressive, violent, destructive. And so this song sort of gets to the idea of like immortal beings, gods and sort of demons and sort of heaven and hell, and in relation to what happens down here on Earth. And it's talking about like, the idea that before humans were on Earth, it was this sort of rock that was sort of circling around the sun. It was a witness to sort of the solar system, but it wasn't, there weren't like oppressive brutalities happening. There was sort of the natural sort of order of things. But then once humans, achieve sentience and begin to build and expand and sort of exploit the environment around them, you see destruction, pollution, brutality, cruelty, and so on. So it's saying that like, some humans are looking out to the stars and thinking that like maybe humans can find whatever eternity, whatever sort of like other dimensional sort of existences out there. But the reality is, if you look where we are, like our home and where we've come from, it's just filled with the worst things possible. So it speaks to like the worst things that humans do, and the way in which, for all the talk about demons and sort of hell and so on, if you really just look down, it's like, well, the fallen angel, Lucifer, if you will, it seems like he reigns supreme on planet Earth. So the idea that we're going to somehow like distinguish Earth from some other place and sort of the evil forces, it seems a little dubious. It seems like, again, Earth has sort of a monopoly, at least in this part of the universe, on sort of evil cruelty. So yeah, it's a song that, again, when I started listening to Iron Maiden, I was impressed because I thought of metal when I was someone who didn't really know the genre at all. And admittedly, I still basically don't know the genre. I do know Iron Maiden's tunes a lot better, and System of a Down and some more recent metal groups I do have knowledge of. But ultimately, I don't really know the genre as a whole. But my sort of perception from the outside looking in was long that like, oh, it probably celebrates like violence and, it's sort of like about being like ruthless and so on. But it turns out that, obviously, even just within one band's catalog, it's turned out to be a much more complicated thing. And while there are songs that perhaps play up the imagery and sort of the narrative surrounding dark themes and so on, they ultimately get at it from a very like human point of view, and they often talk about like the human cost of the like worst things that humans do. So that's why I felt like when I first heard this, which it wasn't in 2015. That was before I went on this Iron Maiden deep dive, which was well before I started doing reaction videos, I should mention. But yeah, it was probably a few years later, maybe like 2018, when I sort of caught up, because I just went through them in chronological order from the Bruce albums, which is to say I didn't listen to the couple before Bruce, and I didn't listen to the couple from the 90s with, what's his name, like Blaze Bailey, something like that. So yeah, I've only gotten the Bruce ones. But the point is, when I finally got up to this album and I heard this song, it felt like, man, this is very much concepts and ideas that they've been exploring for 40 years now, or just about. So yeah, ultimately, let's get to it. This is Iron Maiden, If Eternity Should Fail. It's the first tune from their 2015 album, The Book of Souls.
Here is the soul of a man, here on this place for the taking, clothing in white, stand in the light. Here is the soul of a man.
I remember reading that this song was originally going to be like a Bruce solo song. If someone knows about that, let me please confirm that. Or deny it if that's not the case.
Time to speak where the shame on again. Conjure the jester again. Black dog in the ruins is howling my name. So here is the soul
The
of a
sonic
man.
atmosphere. Deep. Resonant.
When the world was virgin, before the coming of man, just a soul of witness, from the beginning of the end. From a world of magma to a cold white face, the ascent of madness and a human
How old is he at this point? Like late
race.
50s?
Strange believers all over us. There are stranger truths and mortal lust. Where lies from slumber, he calls our name, recalls our number, our bad way.
like 80s Iron Maiden vibes. I love it. Tempo shifts and section changes. Shift to the
Good day. My name is Necropolis. I'm formed of the dead.
this
I am the harvester of the soul, and I suck the lives from around my bed. I gave my own 2 sons, I gave them breath, and I filled their living corpses with my bile. What humanity I knew, I have long forgotten. For me, eternity.
This is the part I understand is originally from like a Bruce song. But what I remember reading is that Steve was like, no, it works. You know, it's like it's about souls. It's, you know, it works with what we're doing here. So yeah, again, let me know if I have that right or if there's actually a different story to it. But really cool, man. And again, like their ability to like change tempos and sort of like key signatures like on a dime, like it's just their musicianship has continued to be a hallmark of their work over the decades. And like I said, there are a couple of vocal extensions there where it's like, man, it's impressive for any singer, but for a singer who is much later or longer in the tooth, if you will, I find that just really impressive. So top tune, and again, I feel like there's some layers there which as I do these reactions, I always mention. I don't think I said it up front of this one, but I just talk about lyrics the way that they've hit me, not in any definitive way. So I feel like there are some layers here that I didn't really address, and maybe I'm not. I don't have fully in mind, but do let me know if there's another angle or at least some details that I failed to mention. But ultimately, it is a song that I think lyrically, I think it's very profound and also fits into at least some of the ideas that they pursued in a lot of other songs, even if in slightly different contexts and sort of from different angles. In any case, let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.